What's your favorite scary movie?
Help support the future of this series by checking out previous videos. If you're also a Friday the 13th and Halloween fan, we have videos from those franchises as well, and more to come from each. Links can be found below.
Police are on their way. What are you gonna tell them?
Peer pressure.
Welcome to Flaw vs. All Reviews, where we rate and rank the movies and shows we love and hate. I'm Ronny Haze, and today we're looking at Scream from 1996. The exact version I'm watching is coming from the glorious 4K theatrical cut. First came Monsters. Then came Monsters of Men, with the likeness of Norman Bates from the 60s, Leatherface, the Phantom, and Michael Myers from the 70s, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Chucky from the 80s. By the mid-90s, things were getting stale. Leatherface's skin dried up, Nightmare on Elm Street turned into a daydream, Child's Play ran out of plastic, and Friday the 13th literally went to hell. The slasher genre needed something fresh, influenced in part by a news story of the Gainesville Ripper. Writer Kevin Williamson got freaked out after seeing a window left open, and this scare is what gave birth to a short 18-page script called Scary Movie, which went on to become a full screenplay sold to Dimension Films, and eventually caught the eye of director Wes Craven. Other directors were approached, but they just didn't get it like Craven did. They saw Scary Movie as purely a comedy. And funny enough, after Scream's success, they made a spoof called Scary Movie that was purely a well, it was technically purely a comedy, but it wasn't really that funny. So with legendary horror director Wes Craven, a hot, and I mean that two ways, popular actor of the time Drew Barrymore, and an equally hot script that caused a bidding war, something special was in the making, with a final tweak on the title taking it from Scary Movie to Scream. We immediately start with...
Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
We're in close with a playful,
What?
charming
What number are you trying to reach?
Drew Barrymore.
Bye now.
Wait, don't hang up.
And the scene really draws you in with a mystery voice on the phone. A smart establishing shot helps set the mood, set the stage, and set the location.
Oh, just some scary movie.
We move to a cordless phone, which is fitting for the time, and it adds some movement now that they've hooked us. The sound of the old-style
Popcorn.
bleeds into the phone.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Early on, we get this grounded tone while also not flinching at name-dropping real-life horror movie classics,
Halloween.
as if these characters are a part of our reality.
I want to know who I'm looking at.
The playfulness of this call ends before it gets dull, and it gets both her attention and ours. Just before she gets to the popcorn, which brings that back into our focus,
You hang up on me again, I'll gut you like a fish.
the stakes rise, quicker now until...
Can you handle that, Blondie?
This next part flows like music. Tension builds as the voice gets more threatening.
To see what your insides look like.
The danger moves from the phone to her front door. Right back to her phone just as she goes to call 911. And most unexpectedly, when the tension is at a peak, the voice lowers tone slightly by being a bit of a smartass.
You should never say who's there. You might as well just come out here to investigate a strange noise or something.
Casey regains her composure enough to think of her own scare tactic.
He's big and he plays football and he'll kick the shit out of you!
Meanwhile, we can just barely see a silhouette outside.
His name wouldn't be Steve, would it?
Listen to how the soundtrack guides us.
Turn on the patio lights.
Even with the grounded, well-done tension,
Name the killer in Friday the 13th.
the horror references feel organic.
Jason!
Sorry, that's the wrong answer.
Kill number 1, Steve, gutted like a fish.
Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer.
The trick question for a casual fan works, and her boyfriend is gutted. It looks like his hand is cut off. I mean, it's brutal. However, the killer guts him in less than 5 seconds? Damn, this opener was almost perfect. The MPAA takes some responsibility here also, forcing footage to be removed of guts rolling out of his cavity. Now they're playing a game with her, and we'll go on to discover it's one she can't win because there's a killer outside of each door. Using the burning popcorn for atmospheric haze, oh, I love it. We play point of view peekaboo with the killer, getting a tease at a new looking slasher killer. I didn't want to say killer twice. Swiftly followed by a face-to-face close-up. Odd they added sound effects like partial glass breaking, while on screen there's no debris. Really would have benefited just by adding running footsteps instead. Iconic slow motion chase all in one shot using a retractable knife for the sweet practical effect, and the killer having realistic difficulty seeing out of his mask. Casey's outfit, hairstyle, and color pops. The MPAA wanted to chop this up, but Wes Craven fought hard for it, saying it was the only shot they had. He lied. Rightfully so, this is awesome. Visually, it's great. It's a perfect match for Drew Barrymore, how she's dressed. Also, after she's wounded, the blood contrasts with her outfit in a striking way. Casey went nuts on him. Father Death jams his hands into her neck to strangle her, which is why she can't call out. This casting was right on the money. Her performance was fantastic, making her likable from frame one. If I ever wanted a final girl to survive, she's it. She's a beginning girl, I want to be a final girl. They managed to make her death, with limited screen time, sad. The story drives a knife deeper as the parents are overcome with convincing shock and horror.
Where is she?
Police.
By keeping the phone in Casey's hand, her mother listens to her last breath.
Casey!
This writer is a sick bastard, and I love it. This is emotional.
Oh my god, I can hear it!
Especially for an on-screen family we haven't even seen on-screen until now.
Drive down to the Mackenzies.
I want you to go down the street to the Mackenzie's house. No, my daughter.
Kill number 2, Casey. Stabbed, gutted, hung. The life-size prop is off a touch. It might be the wig, I don't know. And there's just not enough time to stab her on the porch, drag her, hang her in the few seconds it took for the mother to go outside, even with 2 killers and using the swing. But holy shit, her guts are still steaming, and that setup shot from before reveals she was hung using the rope from their tree swing. One of the all-time best openers for a slasher or even a horror movie, hands down, fight me.
Are you sleeping there? Lately, we're just sort of edited for television.
Great analogy. Also a sly build-up onto his character.
Thought maybe we could do a little on top of the clothes stuff.
The casting here is solid. These two work well as a couple. Neve Campbell is known for the popular 90s TV show Party of Five, which aired 2 full seasons by this point. She plays the dueling internal conflict of Sydney pretty damn well.
Casey Becker, she sits next to me in English. Not anymore.
An added bonus for killing Casey is because it would be impossible for Sydney to not notice. Cool place to eat, but shit always looks bigger and better in the movies. It breaks the relatability hook. When we meet Sydney's friends, it's an explosion of effectiveness with a dual meaning. For example, on first view, Stu comes off as a harmless goofball that doesn't know how to read the room because everything's a big joke.
You take a knife and you slit him from groin to sternum.
And Billy comes off as a concerned boyfriend who recognizes that Sid is uncomfortable about this talk.
It's called tact, you fuck rag.
But on second viewing, you see Stu is far from harmless and he can't read the room because he's a bloodlusting psycho.
What are you saying? That I killed her?
And Billy recognizes Stu is acting very sus.
I didn't kill anybody. Nobody said you did.
Casey dumped Stu.
Hey, Stu, didn't you used to date Casey?
For like 2 seconds. Well, she dumped you for Steve.
So he put her on the hit list.
Never alone.
This scene is fucking surgical, planting the seeds for the whodunit aspect, dropping some hints, letting us get to know the gang in quick pace. Randy is also very important here,
Because their bodies were gutted.
Thank you, Randy.
helping the flow of the convo as he buries the questions of innocence or guilt between them all as suspects. Neve Campbell was in her mid-20s, and this visually is just very silly. I missed the creak of the floorboards the first 20 times I watched this. And now I love it. After she gets her things out and watches TV for a few minutes, a killer hides there to pop out just at the right time.
Maureen Prescott was found raped and murdered.
We find out Sid lost her mother to a violent crime last year, so she's developed a thicker shell.
Tatum, just get in the car.
Hello, Sydney.
Which gives her more of an authentic feel compared to the current day strong female lead, which has become a generic assembly line of characters with poor quality control because all complexities have been gutted in fear of offending Twitter twits.
Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
It's done in a way that still keeps the tension ripe.
So where are you?
She's scared, but recovers enough to get a little testy.
Why call your bluff?
Even snapping back at a foul comment.
If you hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother.
Fuck you, you creep.
HD can often show the body/stunt doubles more clearly than VHS back in the day. The setup and payoff story technique is used effectively. After knocking movies for it, she struggles with the lock and finds herself bolting upstairs. The setup, the payoff. I give them props here. They went for it and they used the duh, it must be Billy as a friggin' red herring. How did his cell phone fall out of his pocket? He's straight up waving that gun in her face.
Move your fat tub of lard ass now!
Blowing up on the TV show Friends put Courtney Cox's career type in a box. She fought to play a bitch and she made it work. The outfit in real life was licensed from Fun World, a company that makes and sells Halloween stuff. Hence why you'll find Scream merch and Ghostface merch like the NECA and the Sideshow figures. Now renamed for the movie as Father Death, which also helps to add the father as the red herring.
When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law.
I'm not normally a fan of the dummy type character, but David Arquette made it work here, even when it's on the borderline of being a little too over the top.
He's my superior.
Janitor's your superior.
Hello, Sydney.
The voice on the phone was done perfectly by Roger Jackson, and although the phone call aspects of the killer in Scream become his signature method of terrorizing,
An innocent guy doesn't stand a chance with you.
it happens here for only the third and final time of this movie. Not to be wasted though, it's used to throw doubt on Billy's guilt, but more mind-blowing to Sydney is the revelation her mother's killer might not have been caught after all.
Looks like you fingered the wrong guy. Again.
Okay. Okay.
I love this, the meta satire from a cameo of Linda Blair of The Exorcist fame.
So how does it feel to be almost brutally butchered? People want to know. They have a right to know.
Like in real life interviews when they ask a person how they feel after finding out something horrific happened to them or someone they love, and they're like, how did you feel in that moment when you lost everyone you loved around you at the same time? It's like, dude, what? The mystery gets deeper. All the killings have a link. A good character twist is that Sydney, the seemingly innocent and honest one, could be lying or mistaken, and the asshole Gale could be fighting for the life of an innocent man.
If I'm right about this, I could save a man's life. Do you know what that could do for my book sales?
That too. His energy in each scene is great. Plus, what you see changes depending on if it's your first or multiple viewing.
Look at this place. It's like Christmas.
Stupidity leak.
We see more of Billy's true colors here. He has issues, and Neve Campbell crushes it.
Is your brain leaking? My mom was killed. I can't believe you're bringing this up.
It's been a year.
Sydney's mom is raped and killed. They investigate.
Your mother's murder was last year's hottest court case.
And all this in under a year? Hard no.
You make me so sick.
I love the Fonz, and how can you not love him flipping out on these two punks?
You'll rip your insides out.
A little foreshadowing foreplay to the two killers ending while making the principal more of a suspect. How nice of them to remain quiet until the cameraman caught up.
She was never attacked.
And how gross is that? The cheerleader doesn't wash her hands.
Her mother was a tramp.
The conversation overheard fits. It helps Sydney to start accepting her mother wasn't perfect, and the bathroom attack serves a purpose in getting school canceled. However, it would be too risky for the real killers to do, and it comes off as a prankster under the robe, but the filmmakers wanted us to think it was real for a cheap jump scare.
Stupid.
The nonsensical whisper can be waved away as paranoia in her head just hearing shit. And we know it's 100% not the real killers because Billy was just outside the bathroom. And we can see Stu isn't wearing the same pants as the killer, and we know where he was also just a minute ago.
In a demographic study, I proved to be most popular amongst males 11 to 24. I guess I just missed you.
The chemistry between these two continues to be on point.
I was 24 for a whole year.
Yeah, she's trying to get info and she's like over the top flirty. But this line is some have a seat with Chris Hansen type shit.
Of course, you don't look a day over 12.
Sid's little startle adds authenticity. And Matthew Lillard's Stu, the energy in the performance turns this average scene into something far more entertaining to watch. And there's that extra layer of the killer's planning you see on second viewing. They didn't do a good job hiding it, but this is a fitting Easter egg. Not only is that director Wes Craven as a janitor, but he's dressed like Freddy Krueger and his name's Fred.
Not your friend.
Kill number 3, the principal, stabbed. At first it seems like a random kill, but later it's used as a backup method to get the last of the party goers out of the house. However, the kill itself is pretty basic, but the reflective imagery rocks. In my Friday the 13th Flaw vs. Saw, which I recommend everyone watch right after this video, anyway, I talked about the presence shot, which is the idea of putting teasers of the killer, usually a point of view shot, every 10 minutes or so, just to show the killer is relevant in some way, shape, or form. Here they do that in 2 spots briefly that I feel are very weak. This is one of them. Either a random prankster or the real killer. It's stupid. And partly doesn't make sense since the real killers have planned for the party at this point anyway. Rental store vibes. Very fitting for these characters especially. For at least one scene, I'm glad it's included. And of course, Randy works there. Perfect. Sound and sight are important for realism. VHS tapes are heavier and would sound more chunky in a recognizable way.
There's always some stupid bullshit reason to kill your girlfriend.
Although it's a bit too blurry, the background extra's expression is great.
Everybody's a suspect!
Solid trailer take.
The dad's a red herring. It's Billy.
It makes sense Randy would use horror movies to crack the case.
Huh? Hi, Billy.
Billy in front, Stu in the back. Slick foreshadowing as they taunt their prey. At the moment, luckily for Randy, this is just for fun.
What would be your motive?
You telling me that's not a killer?
Billy and his don't deserve me.
And here it is, my all-time most hated Scream scene. There's a citywide curfew, and this in the middle of the frickin' grocery store. This is just stupid. It could be a random local prankster, sure. I mean, I view it that way because I refuse to believe the real killer is doing this dumb shit.
Sydney's father.
Well, there's no way a cellular could have been cloned.
Dummy Dewey got this right, and he's ignored.
Not much of a story here.
Playing off the charisma between David Arquette and Courtney Cox, who would go on to get married in real life,
Just a bunch of kids cutting it loose.
the story is able to insert modern tech into the horror genre with a hidden camera. This scene embraces self-awareness without making it too silly.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Fucking whores!
The doggy door is set up, Ghostface is playful, Tatum puts up a solid effort, sounds here even seem to match Billy, who is supposed to be the killer here, although the actors never wear the robe and hood outfit except in one scene coming up, and this is one of the more memorable kills. Kill number 4, Tatum, head crushed. There's a few problems though. If you're gonna go for it and get a character's outfit wet, just be ready to commit to the bit for continuity or change it, because it looks ridiculous going from wet to dry in a flash. Most glaring is the garage door. No way does it have the power to do all that. Those are some big tits. No, I'm kidding. I keep forgetting this ain't the 90s anymore. And no one sees Ghostface coming in and out of the room, and no one else is gonna come for a beer. Now, Stu sent Tatum for the beer, and when Billy shows up, he gives him a look letting him know it's done. And Tatum popped Billy in his taters, so Billy pops Stu in his tots.
Talk. Whatever.
It's a fun, refreshing blend, having horror movie fans deal with what those they watch on TV are dealing with, a killer in their town.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Very organic and fitting for the story and tone.
Never, under any circumstances, say, "I'll be right back," because you won't be back.
A rule that comes from the very movie they are watching.
I'm getting another beer. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
And they end this scene perfectly with a playful punch.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll see you in the kitchen with a knife.
The ADR here sucks.
Be right back.
That's the automated dialogue replacement. It looks like she mouths keep watch or keep watching, but they did a last minute audio dub to connect it to the previous scene, hence be right back. It's kind of cheap. Just leave it the way it was, because it looks terrible.
Be right back.
They keep the self-awareness going strong and consistent,
Here comes the obligatory chick shot.
also while flipping this trope on its head.
Okay, time's up, stud bucket.
Yeah, not really sure how they screwed this up, but the kids leaving the house, on the inside, they're a totally different group of kids than the ones running on the outside. Yet they're supposed to be the same 5 kids. An hour and 19 minutes in, Dewey and Gale find Mr. Prescott's car. Not only does the excitement rise, but it brings the promise of shit's about to hit the fan, while doubling down on the father-death red herring.
I was just thinking if it were you, it'd be a very clever way to throw me off track.
Really?
You're telling me that's not a killer?
We start to suspect Billy again, and then bam. Well played. Even though I like it, I'm not buying the whole blood application here. It's not one of those moments that's real clever where you're like, oh, I see how they got away with that and cheated the fake blood. What kind of knife swipe sound effect was that? That shit's one legit door hit. Good time to point out the soundtrack is also hitting.
What is your name?
Yeah, nice fall, but that's a cover on a boat. There's no cushion. She'd be in pain, and they could have used that to put her down for a bit. The garage is tucked off to the side, so the layout actually makes sense when people are leaving and no one noticed.
Oh, there he is.
This is the only time a killer is actually in the outfit. Skeet asked, and he got the opportunity, and another cool meta moment is the actor Jamie telling the actor on TV, Jamie Lee Curtis, to turn around.
Shot Jamie, you know he's around.
Look behind.
Kill number 5, the cameraman with his throat cut. Good, standard throat cut that ironically got cut down a little by the MPAA bitches. But it's the
30-second delay
that adds a little more oomph to it. And our final girl gets wounded, which helps her to not feel so protected by the script. Now that's a big spill. She would notice that running up to the van. Not dramatically right as she got close, as if she needs fucking glasses or something. Sheesh. And pretty sure hitting the brakes going in reverse ain't throwing his body forward, as if you slammed on the brakes normal. Not even sure how his body slid either. Plus, now we see what she must have seen running up to the van. How did she not see his body? It's a bit much. Dewey had a big brother presence towards
Sydney?
and a harmless helper to the audience, so it worked well having him attacked off screen and Sydney witness the aftermath.
Dewey!
Again, with the ADR, she's clearly saying no, not Dewey. What are you guys doing? This puts her in one final cat and mouse situation with
Mr. Ghostface?
Stu could have ended it right there. Clearly in this moment, Stu could have killed her, and they faked Billy's death, so they have some sort of plan. But it just worked out a little too perfect. oh, ain't that convenient type of perfect. Even when I was younger, I knew something was suspect the moment Billy did the dramatic roll down the stairs, but that stretch at the end, dude, you got stabbed up. What are you doing, opening up all those cuts or something? Not that it's a flaw that Billy didn't act injured enough, but the movie itself didn't tone that down a touch.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
It's good they dive right into the reveals. Billy shoots Randy, and Stu reveals the voice.
Surprise, Sydney.
With neither one of them actually removing their mask, or even wearing a robe. This is likely to keep from feeling like a live version of Scooby-Doo, but the double killer reveal was a mind blown for its time.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
This moment, foreshadowed at the video store, has the two taunting their prey.
It was fun.
Confirming they killed her mother, which is vital to the whole story.
Now you gotta die. Those are the rules.
Her mother slept with his father, which made his mother leave. Ah, another mama's boy.
It's a scream, baby!
They kept him tied up? I mean, he looks beat up too. Investigators are gonna notice this. They planned a lot. I don't see them missing those details, and Stu puts his prints on everything.
Oh, this is the greatest part.
Holy shit, this is awesome and demented.
We're gonna carry on and plan the sequel.
Matthew Lillard's energy comes in to steal the show, and much like the beginning, the end here is a ball of concentrated awesome.
Yeah! Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies make psychos more creative!
Houston, you have a problem here.
This line might work to date the movie, but a character that loves horror movies would also be familiar with popular movies from that time.
Right here, asshole.
She was dead. She looked dead, man. Still does.
If you look close when Stu sets the gun down, he is even shown putting the safety on. Checking in on and placing Gail here is necessary, so that way she don't just pop up out of nowhere to save Sid. Now the audience knows she's knocked out by the front door. Roles are reversed with Sydney calling them.
Are you alone in the house?
Stu's bleeding out,
Hello?
but reveals his motive, and it's friggin' great.
Peer pressure.
The fake blood, for real, is sticky, so when Billy throws the phone, it mistakenly hits Stu. And without missing a beat, we get this awesome ad-lib that's one of the best lines of the movie.
Fucking hit me with the phone, Dad!
The knife is on his right side, but falls to his left. The gun is on his left and even falls directly on top of the knife. And that pain face he's making is real. When you watch in HD, you can clearly see the shape of the chest pad, and that second hit with the umbrella misses the pad. Kill number 6, Stu, head crushed. Ironic, since his girlfriend's head was crushed. Now, a TV is normally a lazy kill in my book, since it wouldn't smash that easy, but it would do damage. However, I'll back down from my usual criticism because the same thing that helped him study to become a killer is the same thing that killed him. I love that. The picture is so clear, another body double has been spotted.
I'm sorry.
Ooh, and that's the secret to reverse the virgin curse. You gotta penetrate him right back. Kill number 7, Billy, shot in the head. Bringing Gail back to close this out with Sydney when the two started as enemies is a solid arc for the both of them. And they got one last self-aware jab. Great call of showing that Dewey survived. That's a good example of the balance between ruin and reward. If the audience loved Dewey, you ruin them with his presumed death. But the reward comes with his survival. So in the end, there's that little injection of happiness. You're glad he survived.
Hi, this is Gail Weather.
And we have a real shot for the end. It's a very difficult time to film. It's a very short window of opportunity to film. They did it in 2 takes. I love it. And even closing out on the House of Horrors, where Billy and Stu probably planned a lot or most of what transpired in this movie.
I like that ending.
So that was Scream. All I have to say is it's a fucking underrated masterpiece. Fight me. In Scream, there are 7 official on-screen kills. Now, there is a fake out if you want to be technical. I know we counted the dream kills in Friday the 13th. I'm not counting the fake out, but I will acknowledge it because technically we did see somebody die on screen. It just wasn't as involved as the dream kills. I will not be counting Mrs. Prescott though. There wasn't a flashback. There's no real substance. It's just a character who has died at some point in time in the characters' lives. That's just not enough for a kill count. But the 7 official kills are Steve, tied up and gutted, Casey, stabbed, gutted, and hung. The principal was stabbed, Tatum had her head crushed, the cameraman had his throat slit, Stu was stabbed up, head crushed for the finisher. Billy was also poked, shot, I think twice, once in the head to finish him off. And last but not least, the fake out death by Billy. A sick and twisted way to psychologically his girlfriend up. We remove the F's from the A's, giving us a Map Cinema score of 83. Let us know below how you feel about this movie, and also tell me your flaws and awes for Halloween 2018, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives, and even Halloween Kills, once that is released on Blu-ray, that is. This was supposed to be a quick bonus video, but I ended up getting very sick for weeks. But if you really enjoyed this series, you can help support what's coming up through Patreon, directly through PayPal, or even YouTube memberships. I'll be creating a new supporter end card for 2022, something that's a little more flexible to add and remove names. And if you haven't heard, Doomsday Kingdom issue 5 and a brand new issue 6, never before released, is going up for pre-order after Christmas, so stay tuned over at doomsdaykingdom.com, and you can still order the first volume that is available now. There's about 50 or so copies that are left until it's out of print. Thank you very much, Matt Mob. Hopefully I'll get a stream in before the end of the year. See you then.